Yo, alright, so this is like fucking what, third take or some shit, but yeah, my name's Elijah. I'm gonna be showing my portfolio for the Bartlett, obviously by the title. I got accepted into obviously the Bartlett, UAL, Cardiff, MSA, so all those schools, and then the Bartlett is the one I wanted to go to. So yeah, and I feel like with applying, alright, I just got to cut in because my guy was just chatting for way too long. But I might speak for way too long as well right now. But whatever, fuck it. So I'm showing a couple of these guys on YouTube already. They helped me out massively. Glory, it's like the OG, kind of the OG application, Bartlett portfolio application person. Great videos. And Emlak or Malak, I don't know if I butchered the pronunciation, but really cool portfolio that she done that's really drawing based actually. And this interview by A&J Education, where he interviewed the student who just gives good advice about interviews and portfolio and when to send in your portfolio, sorry. Yeah. All this stuff, right, that you could look at and you probably looked at before mine. But what I'm saying is it was important for me to take into account because I didn't do any drawing ever. This is like the first time I ever drew like 3 years was like the start of my journey into architecture. And yeah, I realised I needed to do drawing. So I looked at these portfolios and then I tried to do as best as I can to get to that point of applying and being prepared for myself to actually earn and deserve a spot at the Bartlett, which has been successful, and that's pretty cool. I mean, I used to completely fuck around in school, I can't lie, but yeah, I used to have like an average like GCSE grade of like four something. Not the greatest, right? When I go on LinkedIn and I see everyone with 8s and 9s, it's kind of crazy how I got in. But yeah, portfolio, really important, and especially the grade requirements for the Bartlett, they're not actually that high, so your portfolio matters a lot. And I will say, the Bartlett especially, make sure you're good at drawing, and like normal stuff as well, like show your process and have a theme. I think for the Bartlett as well, definitely go with more a thematic, a really strong thematic portfolio. So maybe you want to take some time out and apply later towards the deadline to create a more thematic portfolio, but that's up to you, because my portfolio wasn't even thematic, to be honest. It had a couple like structures there, but it all depends on the individual and whoever's reviewing your work. So yeah, I don't know if that helped, but yeah. But yeah, I'll just get into it. Alright, we're finally here. So, because I was thinking of this portfolio for around like 2-3 years, I knew that I wanted to do architecture for real, and a big thing of applying for architecture, a portfolio has to be about dimension and space, and how well you can translate and visualize that in your work, because your work is in the built environment, it's in a 3-dimensional space. So you'll see my work has a lot of depth and perspective, which you need for architecture. So yeah, and this is my cover page, and actually I've taken a few pages out of work because there's a bit of like graphic nudity and stuff like that. So and YouTube doesn't like that, but I've still kept the best, basically the work that matters in it. And yeah, you don't have to start with a cover page, but I started with one because I don't know, I think it looks more professional. And also keep in mind about the white space around the images as well. Really, really important, because the layout is definitely a thing they're looking for. 100%. Don't want to just like make it all cramped and condensed. Just looks weird. But yeah. So this is like the first painting I've actually completed, and it's showing the process that led to it. And obviously during your interview, you want to be able to talk about your work, right? Know it inside out. And this is from a foundation project I did in my foundation art diploma year. It was called a theme called family forms, and originally I made like a model for it or whatever, or like but I didn't include this whole painting is done independently, so it kind of stems from that family forms project, but you know, what I took from that is what I've created now. And yeah, just showing, you know, the initial two-dimensional sketch or drawing that then proceeded into the three-dimensional space that I wanted to capture, you know, how family forms, like the phrase, makes you feel. You know, I wanted to create a space that feels grotesque and discomforting, and you know, it just feels like you're in your guts in it. Looks kind of, yeah. I think I've achieved it well. The whole you know, sliminess and you know, it looks weird in it when you look at it. That's what I'm saying. And that's what I tried to achieve, and that's what it gets. So yeah. And then this is so I went to the Philippines around when, or like before I applied, obviously, and I went to the slums that my family were from. And yeah, one thing I really noticed was how condensed and packed everything is in these kind of like shanty towns, right? You know, you're trying to sleep, and your window's right there, and you just wake up and there's just some guy next to your window just like walking through, or like some tradesmen selling stuff. There's no privacy, there's no personal space, everything's cramped, everyone feels like they're all under one roof. And yeah, it's just like, you know, when I came back to the UK, I was really considerate of my bedroom and having that alone space. And yeah, and you know, speaking of claustrophobia and this condensed emotion, that's why I used the fisheye perspective for the charcoal painting, or drawing, sorry, because, you know, it kind of emphasizes and exaggerates further the, you know, that claustrophobic feeling. And also it's kind of a cool drawing to have that it's I was thinking, like, how could I turn a drawing to be more complex, and yeah, I did with adding a fisheye, to be honest. And yeah, and you know, initial studies of the slums using watercolor, and I made up something about, you know, the fleeting moments of life in the Philippines, you know, pulling the trauma card, and you know, really bringing out some personal history into my interview. And yeah, I'm not saying pull the trauma card just to do it, because like this is like some real shit for real. But yeah, I feel, yeah, you know, what separates you from the rest, right? And yeah, going back to the Philippines really touched me, and I wanted to include it in my work because it's something that, as an architect, inspires me to become an architect. Sorry. These are some life drawing stuff, and actually, when you do your interview, do not say this is some life drawing stuff. they already know that. They got eyes in it. They can see it. They can see the work, right? And yeah, I think some guy said it. He also did a portfolio interview. He was like, "Yeah, explain why you did this." And why I did this is because I wanted to, life drawing for me is like the way to capture the human body, and test your observational skills like perfectly. And when you draw a human body and capture it for the first time, like accurately enough, you can tell that's a human body. And that was kind of like the judgment for myself and how well I could capture, just capture objects. And especially the human body has is a really complex form. Especially the trapezius is what I focus on. That like triangular, shape that contrasts most of like this huge, strong, hard shape that contrasts like the softness of the human body. And yeah, there's like some ink stuff I did with like ink and a stick, capturing motion, fluidity. As you're going through your portfolio, just make sure you can talk about it. Make sure you could bullshit, mate. Can't lie. That's it, innit? But yeah, obviously your work has meaning, right? So yeah. And then this is the like final development of that life drawing thing, and I wanted to like turn it into, how well can I actually represent the human body in the most detailed representation I can. And I'm bringing in stuff like the curves of the human body. Obviously it's a bit freaky in it, and what I thought of like I don't know, like male gaze and sexual tension, and bring that into the drawing. And yeah, but I wish I could show it in full because it's a really cool drawing, but YouTube and that guidelines. And then this is so in my home city, when you walk out of the train station, there's this this is the first thing you see. It's like some massive estate. Like, why is this estate the first thing you see when you leave the train station? It's a brutalist estate. And I feel like with brutalism, it really it's a real building. It has no ornamentation, has no frills. You see it and you know it, and it's dirty. It's a reminder of like the past, very clearly, right? Post-war rebuilding and concrete. And I realised with the concrete, it's really dirty. Like most of the brutalist buildings that we see, outside of London especially, they're really dirty. They're really unkept because these are cheap buildings, so they're not really cared for. And when you look at the concrete, it's really weathered down. It's really it's like you see where the rain seeps in, and you see marks of where people have like kicked their shoe on or some shit like that. And yeah, it's just like I was really drawn to the reality of the building, how personal it is, and how it has its own like personality by every scratch and stuff. Because when you see all these buildings and they're like all not cleaned or like not well kept, it's like why is this? Why is this happening to brutalism? And I feel like it's because brutalism, that's a part of brutalism itself, to just withstand all this stuff. So yeah, that was my reason. And for the drawing, I did this thing called like pencil frottage, where I just rub the paper onto the concrete material, and I got like little like textures from it. And then when I got the textures, I'd go over them in like 4H pencil and really get into the details and really depict the concrete as realistic as I can, getting all the cracks, all the crevices, all the dirt and specks and scratches, and yeah, basically a material study, to be honest. But yeah, and then this is my it's like development from brutalism, and that brutalist building that I mentioned, I used to skateboard around that place, and yeah, I was really I was thinking of brutalism, and I was really aware of how the marks are there and they never get washed away. And when I'm skateboarding, like, these marks are just staying there. Like, you come back like 2 months later, they're still there. These like wheel marks, and further just emphasizing personality and what I thought about. And this stuff isn't going away. It's always going to be there. And yeah, with like mixed media stuff, just mark making, honestly, and also bringing in like circularity, like to contrast the structural nature of brutalism, or like man-made material. I'm trying my best to bullshit, innit? Yeah, but yeah, this is all what I think, for real. So and this is when I volunteered at a elderly support home thing, and yeah, I just do these studies of the people that helped out there. And yeah, I think with like stuff like these, with these studies as well, just showing my technical ability, really, how well I can draw. And yeah, there's not really much I can say. Yeah, I just pull these guys aside and say, "Can I draw you?" And then I drew them. Or if I don't want them to sit down for bloody ages, I just take a picture and yeah, just complete it at home. But yeah, old people, very nice people. Yeah, I miss that place. But yeah, and this is from my UAL first year, because I actually did a year at UAL before the Bartlett, and yeah, it was a group project called Food Play Machines, and it was about how can we teach children to learn about the food, learn about where their food comes from. And yeah, it was really fun. I can't lie, I really enjoyed this project. I think yeah, food is a really big it's a really big luxury that we have in the first world country. So going back to the Philippines, think about poverty, and then bring this immersion into my work, like, for real, this installation that we're building. Yeah, really cool. And sorry, I would say more, but my mind is just blank right now. It's quite late. Yeah, sorry. We were basically tasked, how can we create an installation that teaches children about where their food comes from? And yeah, we thought of using this ramp system, because it's a way of like delivering the food to the children, as like, makes them aware of the transport. And we painted like the underside of the tubes to show where are these coming from, what country they came from, how long it takes to grow. Yeah, just a really fun project. I think we won the competition to be put in like the Lethby Gallery for Central St. Martin's, so I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, I'd love to do like more of these projects where we actually interact with the client. So yeah, I hope that happens. But yeah, that's my portfolio. Yeah, so I had a little bit of outfit change, as you can see, but I hope you enjoyed the portfolio. I think most important things are definitely focusing on dimensionality and 3D in your work, and you know, hopefully you get a theme or a couple themes in there. Make sure your work is actually, make sure your work has, you know, if you could get something in really personal that makes you stand out and makes you remember yourself as a person, that would be really cool. Because I feel like there's a lot of portfolios where, you know, you just draw buildings, right? And buildings are just boring. And you know why they're boring is because you go to architecture school to learn about architecture, so you shouldn't know anything about architecture before you go. You know what I mean? Like, buildings are just like, it's just, it's just it's not good. Trust me, it's not good. I don't know. I'm sorry, it's a bad explanation, but it's just it's too simple, and it's too you know, observational drawings of buildings are cool, but like, don't make an entire portfolio on buildings. Don't make, you know, loads of pages about buildings, and don't make it your main thing, because that's what I see a lot of things. And you know, I think there's a lot of portfolios and applications which are just melded together with just buildings, and like, it's not really, you know, how is this going to set you apart? And yeah, I think that's it. What else? Again, shout out to the guys I mentioned earlier. They're really, really, really helpful. And you know, I'm actually really grateful to be able to make a video like this, because I always wanted to make a video like this, and help people, because yeah, those people helped me a lot, and I just want to give back. And you know, I'm in a place where I can now, so yeah, I'll probably make another video on maybe interview, something like that. But yeah, good luck, and try your best, because you know, if you don't get in, you tried your best, right? So yeah, peace.